Welcome into this week's episode of Bill's Pod Squad. Maddy Glab here with my co-host, Kim Pegula, Bill's owner and president. Kim, always good to be outside on an October afternoon.
The end of October. And it was, I heard some people complaining how hot it was this afternoon.
I was one of the complainers, and I complain about how cold it gets.
I will remind you that in January that you were complaining about being hot in October.
You know, I did not dress for October. I have on pants and a blazer, so during practice, it was just way too hot. But we're not here to complain about the weather. Happy that it's warm enough where we can be outside. The Bills have back-to-back primetime games. So we come off of a Sunday night game where the Bills just sail past the Kansas City Chiefs. Awesome to go to Arrowhead and pick up a win, that big of a win that they got. And now we're on to Monday Night Football. One more game before the bye week, taking on the Tennessee Titans. So how does your schedule change as an owner with the primetime games? Because I know you're someone who likes to just get the game over with. You know, you don't have to think about it too much all day. And we have those lovely 1 p.m. kicks, but primetime needs more exposure.
It does change because, you know, a lot of players as well, they kind of like their routine. Like they have their schedule. They know what they do every week, week in and week out when you have those Sunday 1 o'clock games, you know, and we've had a lot of them. And so I think starting probably more last year and then this year, having as many primetime games that we have, the night games, it certainly kind of messes up the mojo sometimes. But somebody reminded me that those are the games you want to be on because it means you're relevant. It means that you have the attention of the whole country. You're on a national stage. And so now I'm going to embrace all the changes and the differences. The hardest part is waiting all day long, waiting and waiting. So again, my usual routine, you know, you get up in the morning, you have breakfast, you do a little exercise or whatever, but then you start getting ready for the game and you're on the bus. Here, you're just waiting all day. You're not quite what to do because it's a Sunday, so it's not even really a work business day. So so that's probably a little bit more of the stress there, just the anticipation and the waiting. But 2 big games, Kansas City, Tennessee, that were big games for us last year.
And unfortunately were losses last year.
And so now this year, hoping to change that tide, still big games for us. So it's crazy to see what 1 year can do. So hoping to repeat last week in Kansas City, repeat that in Tennessee. So in Tennessee, such a fun place to be.
Yeah, speaking of playing Tennessee and being in Nashville, what is it like now that you guys are kind of adjusting back to a schedule where you're, of course, able to travel, but now you're able to do things on the road. So what does your schedule look like this week in terms of when you're going to be on the road, who you're going to see, what you're going to do leading up to the game? Whereas last year it was pick up your to-go order and head back to your hotel room before the game.
Well, Nashville is not, you know, short on good places to eat, as you can imagine. So I am going to be flying in on Sunday, and actually we are taking some of our season ticket holders and suite holders, and we are going to have a little gathering at our Black River music studio. So where my brother is the president of that. So I will get to see my brother, my sister-in-law, my nieces, my nephews. And so it'll be just like Dawson, it'll be a family affair there in Nashville. My parents actually, who live here in Buffalo, are going to be, they drove already to Nashville. And so they're going to be coming to the game. So they're going to be roadies. So they're going to be, visiting road fans. Two among very many Bills fans, I am sure. Yeah. It's always a circle away game to go to when the schedule comes out.
I would expect Bills Mafia to take over Nashville just like they did last year. They know how to make it a party starting on like Thursday. So I'm sure people have already headed down to Nashville to get pumped up, get us ready for the game. And speaking of the game, we have our tight end Dawson Knox on this week's episode. So let's get to that interview. All right, Dawson, thanks for coming on the podcast this week. I know we had you on last year right before the Tennessee Titans game, so we figured why not do it again? It's your hometown, going back home, hopefully get a win over the Titans with a lot of your family in the crowd. So,
but a lot has happened, Maddie, since a year ago.
I know. We were over Zoom the last time. Now we're in person. Is it going to be packed with your family? Is this a game that everybody wants to come to?
I got cousins, uncles, aunts,
like people you have never even met
Right,
before.
yeah.
Relatively didn't know you had.
numbers hitting
I
up
have
Dawson.
people that haven't texted me since 6th grade, texted me
That's
asking
right.
me for tickets, and it was really fun my rookie year when everything was open. Last year was a little different with COVID, but there's going to be a good bit of friends and family in the stands, so it'll be pretty fun.
Well, there's definitely a lot to be excited about. You are having a spectacular year so far, only in week 5, but still you've got quite a few touchdowns and doing really well. So what's really changed between last year and this year? Anything that you can tell us? Is it your format? Is it kind of just your skills are a little bit better this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just starting to just stack good games on each other, good practices. It's awesome being in the same system for 3 years. Obviously, having Dave's here still is incredible. And just building that trust with Josh, too. We were able to get together this offseason in California a little bit. Having a full OTAs and mini camp and a full training camp was awesome instead of last year with COVID. We didn't have any of that. So just continuing to build trust and confidence. I think it's just a slow process, but starting to see some results of that, which has been pretty fun.
So you mentioned the confidence. I know confidence is big for anybody doing any task. If you have confidence, like you're next level compared to not having a lot of confidence. So how has the confidence grown this year?
I think it's just one day at a time. I think it started in OTAs, and even coming off of last season, I felt like I had towards the end of the season, I felt like I was starting to build some of that confidence. So I wanted to keep that going through the off season too. And just coming out here every day to the practice field with the mentality of like, these are game reps, practice as hard as you play. So when it comes to the game, it's, second nature. It's just, you're playing fast without thinking. You're on the same page with Josh, and just everything's clicking the way it should fast without having to think about anything too much.
We talked about the off season. So you did a little extra training last off season. Tight end U, is that what you're calling that?
Yeah, so tight end U was awesome. It was George Kittle, Greg Olson, and Travis Kelce were kind of the main guys that started
not
it.
Too bad.
Not too shabby. But it was great. It was in Nashville. It was 2 minutes down the road from me.
Wow.
I just stayed at my place, but a lot of the guys stayed at one of the hotels downtown. We drove to Lipscomb, which is a 5-minute drive to get some work in. We got about an hour of field work every day, but we did a few hours every day of like film study and different tight ends breaking down what they do well. So it was awesome just to kind of pick apart everybody's game and maybe apply 1 or 2 things to myself to try to, work on a few different things, whether it's
So you got to critique each other?
Yeah, a little bit of critique, but a little bit of just going up there and teaching what you do well and what helps you, and maybe that would help someone else in the room. One of my favorites to listen to is Greg Olson. He did about a 45-minute class on one route. So it's this option route that he was so good at, and he just broke down what he's reading in the defense, how him and the quarterback are on the same page, and we run that route a lot too with Josh. So that was
So it's like
really
a real
cool
classroom setting. Like it's a real university.
It really was.
It's not just a bunch
they
of
weren't
tight
just
ends
partying
getting
in
together.
Nashville, kid.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of partying.
Wow.
But it was awesome. I mean, they had so much gear for us and sponsorships, and we had these notebooks with pens and paper.
So how did you get invited, or is this someone who started this?
I think it just was a text from George Kittle, and he was like, "Hey man, we're doing this on these dates, tentative right now. Would you be in?" And of course, I was like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome."
Especially in your hometown.
Especially, I didn't have to travel. But we're planning on doing it every year, so I'm hoping it'll go as well next year too.
So you weren't always a tight end, and I know this story is starting to be talked about more just because of your success this season, but you go to Ole Miss as a walk-on, and you were a quarterback at first, and then you convert to tight end. Did you ever envision this for yourself, like little Dawson Knox thinking, I'm going to be a tight end in the NFL one day?
As a kid, I was just super competitive in anything. Like, I didn't really have a favorite sport. Actually, soccer was one of my favorite sports growing up. I started playing football in 5th grade and just thought it was awesome being able to tackle other people and, run over guys and just being able to be physical and competitive in the sport. I always just idolized the Tennessee Titans because I was right there in Nashville. I vividly remember standing in line for like 2 hours with my parents to get some signatures from some of the players. So it was always kind of in the back of my mind, but I never really had like the vision for myself until I got kind of later into my career, and I was like, okay, maybe I can do this.
So if you were a quarterback, do you and Josh, like, do you ever give Josh any tips, or, you know, do you say, you know?
I like messing with Josh, telling him that he's lucky that I gave it up. But no, I mean, obviously he's just one of the best quarterbacks in the whole league.
And you feel that? Do you feel though? I would think that having that experience, even at, you know, at a younger age, making that connection you talked about, having that confidence and connection with Josh, that experience as being a QB kind of could help you in your new role as tight end.
So last time I was really playing quarterback at all was high school. So
Right.
obviously that's completely different than what it is now in the league. But I still remember, you know, that connection, that trust you want to have in your receivers and your tight end, and how important that tight end connection is. Just being able to know that my guy's going to be there when I need him, he's going to run the right route, and just knowing that we're going to be on the same page. That was so huge for me way back then. I'm sure it's pretty similar now.
Well, speaking of Josh, I might be letting a secret out here, but I hear you have a picture of him on your pads.
What picture? You got to be more specific.
Oh, yeah,
I
multiple
haven't
pictures?
seen it with my eyes, but word on the street is Josh Allen is on your pads somewhere.
On our iPad?
No, on your like
Oh,
pads, on your pads
yeah.
that you wear.
Yeah, it's there. I'm sure people have already seen it. One day he...
Wait, describe this, because I was like, Dawson has a picture of Josh Allen on his jersey or on his pads? Like, what?
Yeah, it was like a running joke. He would get all of his trading cards and just hide them in places. Like, I found them in my wallet. Like, I put on my shoes before and there's cards in there. And I have one taped to the back of my shoulder pads, and it's been there since my rookie year. I haven't taken it off.
And it's still there.
Oh, yeah.
Like a
It's
trading
there
card.
For every game. Yeah, it's just taped right to the back of it. I'm sure there's pictures of it somewhere. If my back pad's showing, it's right there. But I'm not planning on taking it off anytime soon.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure if I do take it off, it'll be right there the next day because he'll notice it is gone. And he'll just go tape it
My
again.
trading card is gone. I gotta put it back on Dawson's pads.
Oh, yeah, there's no telling where I'm going to
Yeah,
find those
no,
things.
you don't want to take it off now, because every year you've been here, the team has grown and grown, and so for a superstition, we don't
Right.
want to take it off.
Right, we
Tell
gotta keep
Jeff,
that
Leave
make
the
sure
trading
that thing.
card on,
Yeah.
please. You guys have some great celebrations, though. I heard prom 21 was great.
Prom was
the
awesome.
prom celebration prom pick that you guys had, just a
I
candid.
guess that's more like homecoming timing. Because
Yeah,
prom's usually a spring,
it's
right?
like a spring thing.
Maybe we should have
Okay,
called it
yeah.
homecoming.
Maybe. What's next? How do you guys figure these things out, and when do you have time to practice?
You know, we're
these?
always open to suggestions. If you guys had suggestions.
Have you ever
It's
done-
always just kind of like a spur of the moment
Yeah.
thing. You know, we think the Titanic scene would be funny. You know, similar
when they're drowning?
Similar to no, not,
Okay, I was gonna
not the
say,
death scene.
oh, you mean when she's out there on the end?
When she said, "Jack, come
the
back."
most iconic scene, Kim.
Yeah,
when-
when she's at
when
the front
Jack
of
falls and
the
runs and
thing.
she's like,
Yes,
Yes.
that one. Okay, all right.
It's similar to prom picks, but thankfully we didn't think about the drowning scene. That would be a little bit more dramatic. I'm sure that one would get a kick out of some people. But yeah, we're open to suggestions.
Can somebody like leap into somebody's arms? You guys could do the Dirty Dancing move where like Josh leaps into your
Oh,
arms.
yeah, there
and
you go, the Dirty
you hoist
Dancing
him
one. I
up
like
in the
that
air
one.
and like
Yeah.
twirl around with him.
Yeah.
That would require some strength.
Yeah.
I'd have to really make sure I'm
Don't
ready
work
for
out.
that one.
Yeah, he's
Maybe
a
we
big
could get
boy.
Isaiah McKenzie to do
Yeah,
that
he's a
one.
big
Yeah.
boy. That he is. He is. So when you were this off season after you went to class at tight end U, did you spend all your off season in Tennessee? Is that where you mostly stay?
Yeah, most of it was in Tennessee. I spent about a month, 5 or 6 weeks out in California,
Right.
most of April.
Okay.
So kind of like before OTAs.
Did you take any vacation? Did you?
Yeah,
Are you
so-
a golfer?
I am.
you
I actually
beat Josh?
just started golfing.
Oh, okay.
No chance I can beat Josh.
Okay.
I do want to get to where I could at least play with him without
Okay.
being too embarrassed. But I just started this spring. And I got addicted pretty quick, even though I'm terrible. You know, I might hit 1 or 2 good shots every round, but that's what gets you addicted to it and gets you
Well,
coming
you
back.
should be good. I mean, hand-eye coordination, which you need as a receiver and as a former QB. So it might come to you really quickly.
I wish it was coming quicker, but
it's
it
the
is
practicing
a really fun
part.
sport. Yeah,
it's the practicing part. Well, someday when you beat Josh, or the person to really beat is Brandon Bean. So yes, if
He's
you're
pretty good.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
I have played with Bill Whippert before. He's actually really good.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Photographer.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he shot like a 74 when we
Yeah,
played.
Whip is good. Jordan Poyer's also good.
Yeah, we actually played with Poe too. Yeah. But okay.
Yeah, okay.
Brandon
No,
Bean.
yeah, he is very
got a target on
competitive,
his
so he
back
might
now.
cheat too, because
So I'll keep an eye out for that.
yeah, he's very competitive. Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
So back in Nashville, I think the last time we had you on, you gave us some ideas of places to go, things to do, places to eat. Are there a couple places that you need to cross off your list when you're there, whether it's a short weekend like you have coming up? I know you guys really only make it like a couple hours to go out and eat somewhere, check in with family, things like that. But are there a couple must-do things in Dawson Knox's Experience Nashville book?
So it's actually kind of funny. Since the bye week's right after this game, I'll be right back in Nashville the next day.
Okay.
But we are staying in Franklin. I think that's where the team hotel is this year. And right across from the hotel is a steakhouse called Perry's.
Okay.
And I'm planning on going there. I'm calling
Kim
and
loves a
getting
good
the
steakhouse.
reservation.
Yeah.
They have this pork chop that comes out on a skillet that's might be
Humongous.
3 pounds. It's got
Nice.
some ribs on there, and it comes with this applesauce you dip it in. One of my favorite things I've ever had.
All right. Are we gonna have hot chicken after the game? Is that our post game meal?
I have no idea what they're gonna go for, but I should put in the
hot
work
chicken
for that.
there. Yeah.
You like hot
definitely,
chicken?
I do.
You like spicy
I do.
food? Okay.
I like some hot chicken, and there's a cupcake place that I like that has croissant
Ooh.
cupcakes. I forgot what the name
Croissant
of it is.
cupcakes?
Is it
I
Gigi's?
No, I do. Gigi's is good.
Gigi's is
Gigi's
good.
is good. Yeah, but so after we're done gorging on all the food in Tennessee and all that, obviously you've looked at some game film. We played them last year, and it didn't get the result we wanted. After it's a new year. What do you think has changed any? I know you're not going to tell us your game plan, but what do you think we're going to be focusing on to beat this Tennessee team this year?
I think we've played really well when we just kind of focus on ourselves and focus on doing the simple things right. We have the talent in every position to do what we need to do, and I think even though we have a lot of the same pieces as last year, I feel like it's a completely different team that we have this year. Our confidence has been great for us. Establishing the run is huge just so we can have that kind of dual threat option of, we can hand the ball off or go deep any given play. But I think just sticking to what we know, sticking to the simple things, taking what the defense gives us. They like playing deep. They don't like giving up the big plays. So just kind of taking what they give us, even if it's a 10, 11 play drive, we'll take it and we'll drive the ball down the field.
So you imagined playing for the Titans when you were very young. And Mike Vrabel, of course, talked to the media this week, as he always does, and he was asked about you. And he shared a story about how your grandpa tried to campaign for you.
Did he really?
Yes.
That doesn't surprise me. Shoot.
To Mike Vrabel, hey, my grandson, Dawson Knox, what do you think of him? And then I think Vrabel said something along the lines of a lot of teams are going to go after him. He's the perfect size for a tight end. He's what you want as an NFL tight end. So your grandpa was campaigning for you while you were in college.
Well, that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. I'm sure that was my dad's dad. But hopefully he didn't say anything too embarrassing. There's no telling.
Well, it's nice to be wanted, right? It's nice to be wanted and have somebody in your corner campaigning for you.
No question. Even if it's to a fault. But
but you're on our team now, so sorry, Grandpa.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere.
He's very happy with me being up here.
Heck yeah. I want to bring up your Knox Socks campaign. I want to get all this right. So you're partnering with Four Bare Feet for the Knox Socks campaign, benefiting the Punt Pediatric Collaborative. So each pair of socks sold from the Knox Socks page, which is all over Dawson's Twitter, you can find it. 20% is going to go to Punt. You're also donating donating $1,000 for every touchdown you score and $100 for every catch. Did you think this was going to be the year where you had 4 touchdowns through the first 5 games? You've already given away quite a bit of your own money.
You know, it's always fun scoring touchdowns. And
Or 5 touchdowns now.
Yeah, I mean, I want to score as many as possible, especially for the kids, you know. But I think last year I might have had, I don't know, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I think 5, including the playoffs.
Yeah.
So now to kind of already be at that mark, I'm like, all right, PUNT Foundation.
All right.
Hopefully we'll keep going with this. But it's been incredible. I think they've already sold over like 1,300 pair of socks.
Wow.
I got to check them out. Terry loves socks.
There's some cool ones on there.
Person. I think he collects them. He asked me to get him some more this week, and I'm like, don't you already have? He's like, well, they're kind of old. So what kind of socks will I find on there? It's like dress socks, sports socks.
It's definitely more
socks.
of like the fun tie-dye, buffalo. I mean, it'll go great with the fans wearing their Zubas.
All right. For my daughter's wedding, is there any on there that he could wear under his tuxedo?
He likes Bill's colors tie-dye socks.
Okay, all right, for the wedding.
Yeah,
all right, I'm gonna get online and order me some socks.
Yeah, and it's great. I think it's like around $5 of every pair goes straight to the PUNT Foundation.
Yeah, I know. We were at the benefit there for the PUNT Foundation, and
that was awesome.
That was a lot of fun and such a great cause when you see those kids. So
oh my gosh, Gwen and Madison and the people that run PUNT are just unbelievable people.
They are.
Where did that idea come from to do something like that? I know in one of the videos you posted about it, you said it's been, a long time in the making to do something like this. You're someone who always gives a lot of your free time to the community and to helping out others.
So it's just kind of like an idea that was in the back of my mind. All the kids in the hospitals, they wear the like gray hospital non-slip socks. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing. We were talking about certain things we could do for PUNT to raise money, and we were thinking, what better way to rhyme Knox with socks? Make some customized, colorful socks to give these kids so they can put on. Instead of putting on their boring hospital socks, they can put on some, Buffalo Bills mascot socks that don't slip, or some like handprint, whatever, super fun, colorful stuff. They can have to kind of feel like it's their own instead of those gray socks. But it's been great for the fans too. They've been incredible helping raise money, like they have with every single, charitable foundation in the whole, state. It seems like. And I don't think any fan base is better than ours.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Why are you motivated to do stuff like that? I feel like you are someone who, when it comes to giving back or meeting with kids who are in this hospital, like you are always on the list of players doing stuff on Tuesdays pre-COVID. Now we're getting out of COVID kind of, and there's more events happening when it comes to spending time with the community or helping people out. It's always Dawson Knox is going to be on that list with a couple other guys who are always on that list. So what's the motivation behind always making sure you spend the time to do stuff like that?
Well, first of all, I just remember how I felt as a kid looking up at, NFL players like they're superheroes, Now I just feel like a normal person, but remembering what kids see, when they see us, it's a completely different perspective. So, I mean, we could go give a high five to a kid and that'll, make their whole year. But it's just a whole different level with kids with cancer. I mean, I can't imagine being a parent and having to deal with something like that you just have no control over. And being able to walk in those hospital rooms pre-cancer or pre-COVID, and being able to talk to some of these kids that are dealing with cancer, it's like just by walking in, their faces light up, even the parents, are smiling, and you get some pictures, you get to give a hug or two, and you get to do some high fives, build some Legos. You could spend 5 minutes with a kid and it'll brighten their whole day just because you say you play football for the Bills. So it's something very simple, not time consuming at all. And it's, something that could brighten that whole family's day. But at the same time, it kind of makes us, if we go and do that, it kind of makes us feel like we're doing something bigger than just a sport. It's really using this platform and what we have to, give back to the community and try to make someone else's day. So it's hopefully we can get back in the hospital soon. Obviously, COVID's seems like it's changing every day with the rules and stuff. But hopefully we'll be able to get back in there soon.
I know they miss seeing you guys in person. And obviously family means a lot to you. You have a little brother.
Two little
yeah,
brothers.
is he following in your footsteps, playing football?
Yeah, so I've got Luke, who's at Ole Miss.
He's three little brothers.
3 little brothers and a little
Yep.
sister. Luke just turned 22. He's at Ole Miss.
Okay.
Just transitioned into playing tight end.
Okay.
He went from linebacker to tight end?
Was playing linebacker, now he's playing tight
just
end.
like
He's
the brother.
just getting back healthy.
So all the tight end university teaching classes, you can just start teaching your little brother there.
So
does he listen?
He does.
He does listen. Okay, all right.
If it was a few years ago, he wouldn't. But now he's gotten better with some coachability.
Yeah, those 5 touchdowns help your credibility.
Oh
you know?
yeah. So yeah, it's always fun, kind of giving him some tips, some pointers, and stuff. And we're gonna get together a good bit this off season. But he's doing great there. My little sister's playing soccer at Auburn. She just got theirs. So excuse me. But this bye week, I'm planning on going down to Ole Miss, seeing the LSU Ole Miss game.
Fun.
And then it times up perfectly because my sister plays for Auburn. They play at Ole Miss the same weekend.
Okay. How are you as a fan? Are you in the stands? Are you screaming and yelling?
I'll do a good bit of yelling.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially when it's especially when it's one of my siblings. I'll do some yelling every now and then. And I'm not. I'll definitely, let them know if they're out of position or something too. You got to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got to let you go in a second here, but before we let you go, how excited are your youngest brothers to be able to see you in person at home? Is this something that they've been looking forward to for weeks? Do they get to travel to games?
Oh yeah, they're super excited. They both got to come to the home opener. So they love that. But I just FaceTimed them yesterday. They were playing Madden. Every week they'll play themselves as the Bills, and they'll play who we're playing for the week.
Oh my gosh.
So like, we just won 60-10. Like, you had 4 touchdowns. And I was like, all right, let's write those numbers down, take that to the bank. We'll keep those stats for this weekend too. But they're awesome. I mean, I really don't know how they feel in terms of like just feeling like it's normal now.
Do you think they think it's normal, or do you think they're still like, my brother's in the NFL?
I'm sure it's more of that.
Yeah.
It was this off season. I was at my youngest brother's baseball game. He was 9 at the time, and he's standing there with his coaches and the players like in the big huddle, and I'm standing way off to the side with my parents. And all of a sudden he starts yelling at me. He's like, "Dawson, you play in the NFL, right?" And his whole team's looking at me, and everyone looks over at me. I was like, "Dude, just listen to your coach." And I mean, he just probably loves the attention for it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, your performance, and I'm sure, being the big brother, you're making them really proud. So,
yeah.
Well,
just like you are with this organization and our community with all the things that you do.
Well,
yeah.
It means a lot.
We'll be looking out for them in the crowd this weekend for
they'll be
sure.
there.
Monday night.
Yeah,
I love it.
Excited. It'll probably be a little past their bedtime. So the youngest one might be asleep in the stands after halftime, but
adorable.
But yeah, it'll be super fun.
All right. Well, Dawson, thanks for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
Appearing on the pod. We appreciate it.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me.
All right.
Always great to hear from a guy like Dawson. He is, like so many of our players on this team, they're just good people off the field. Great players on the field, even better people off the field. And he is definitely one of those guys, always has a smile, very easy to talk to, just seems like a great dude if he's your friend.
Yeah, and I know that when it's always special when you go back and play in your hometown and the support of your family and your friends, and even people that you grew up with, that Dawson saying was contact to him now, but so special to and proud for his family to see him really up close in action back in his hometown where he grew up.
Well, we're a part of the time where now you have 2 big things going on at once. We've got the Buffalo Bills season, and now we have the Buffalo Sabres season beginning. Their first game is tonight, so it's exciting to have people back in that arena to be able to watch games. A lot of newness surrounding the Buffalo Sabres right now. So what are your thoughts on this season for this team and just all the newness surrounding the Sabres right
No,
now.
I am excited to get hockey back. It seems like it's been a long time. That shortened season last year, the abbreviated schedule, it just and then even the year before that, it got cut off. The season got cut off short, and we were kind of in this unknown territory. So to get back to a normal schedule with fans in the arena, I'm just so excited about that, and actually in person seeing real hockey again. It's going to be a fun night. We do have a young team, but that's okay. I think our coach, which he's not a new coach, but he's a newly coach,
Yes,
right? Newly
yes.
coached, coaching a few games last year at the end of the season. And I think you saw at the end of last season, guys that were hungry, guys that really wanted to prove themselves. And I know Coach Granato has a phrase that he wants to earn and re-earn. That's what he's expecting from our players. And so it'll be fun to see that development happen. See, unlike football where you draft a player and you get to see them maybe
So
maybe they're
different.
rookie, right? Maybe they're on a practice team for a year or so, and some of them go right as starters.
Yeah.
But in hockey, not so much. So sometimes several years. So getting to see some of the names that we're going to be seeing, and seeing those young kids that we drafted a couple of years ago, and seeing how they really developed under Coach Granato, who has so much experience in development. So really excited to see what that's going to hold.
Yeah, he's been part of some really good teams when you look at the NHL landscape and where he's came from when it comes to coaching. So the Bills have one more game against Tennessee Titans, and then we head into our bye week, an early bye week for the Buffalo Bills.
We do. And a little wedding in there between.
Yeah.
Right. So after the Tennessee
you are
game,
getting ready for a wedding. Not only does Kim have Bills and Sabres, she also has her daughter getting married.
Finally, a COVID cancellation, and then, well, not a cancellation, but just canceled for the whole year, pushed back for the whole year. So finally, it's arrived. We'll be heading out right after the Tennessee game to North Carolina to
get her married.
To get her married once and for all.
I love it. I cannot wait to hear about all the details.
Yes.
We're going to have that on our next week's episode. We're going to take a break next week. Let everybody enjoy the bye week. Go do something fun. Take some time off work. You fans earned it, right? We've gotten through a few games, so
they might still be recovering.
They might be recovering from the big weekend that is Nashville. But thanks for listening to this week's episode. Make sure you stay tuned on BuffaloBills.com for way more episodes to come.
All right.